Okay, so we're continuing skincare as a bit of a theme here, because a long time ago I did actually do a skincare special, specifically looking at things to do with cleaning out the pores. Well, it wasn't specifically just pores, but other things as well, but that was one of the themes on that video. And I've looked at other ways of dealing with pores as well. Pores can be a bit of a problem because if they get clogged up with everything, then you end up with things like zits, blackheads and so on and so forth. And it can be a problem area for lots of different people, for lots of different places. Which we won't go into the specifics, I'm just giving a box a bit of a once over. This is from a company called Goodsky. As you can see, rather attractive woman with false eyelashes and a few different flowers of some sort, tulips I think, white tulips maybe, sort of photoshopped in behind her. I think it's the same picture, just reversed from the looks of it. Yeah, I think that's the case, same picture, same group of flowers, just the image has been mirrored. Goodsky is apparently a Korea design, which possibly explains some of the language used in the instruction manual, because this is not a straight out of the box review, this is not a first opening. I have already opened this thing up, I've already tested this out, I have, you know, got my opinions on this already. Just give you some idea. It gives you some warm and sweet reminders. Yeah. Step 1, step 2, step 3. After cleansing, this is step 1, cover with hot towel for 3 to 5 minutes to relax pores. He says managing to mangle his own words out of his own mouth. Yeah, so shouldn't step 1 really be cleanse? And step 2 should be, I don't know, maybe they've put it backwards. Step 2 is press the blackhead removing liquid onto the cotton pad and soak it thoroughly. Apply a cotton pad to your nose and remove it in 8 to 10 minutes. Now I should point out, you don't get any kind of cleansing material here. It's just instruction manuals, a power cord, which you have to use with a USB device, some spare things which we'll go into later, the actual device itself, and then a variety of different attachments for the front. We'll just put that to one side there while we look at this. You can actually see the different things here. It's actually reusing the same graphics as well, from the looks of it. Apart from that one there, which is completely original. That one, that never gets reused ever again. Certain different suction heads according to requirements, and rotated to be mounted on the instrument. Rotated to, spelled in that unique fashion of being one word rather than two. A key adjust 3 gears strength, recommended minimum suction for first time. Yeah, this is where it becomes obvious that it was made in Korea by Koreans whose grasp of English was rather good. Better than what you normally get in these sort of things, but still just a little off. Suck this in. I'll try that again. Suck the skin, then move quickly. Do not stay more than 2 seconds. I found that's a bit of a lie. You could stay more than 2 seconds, but you don't really want to because of the way the suction works. More on that later. And then it says press the pore essence onto the cotton pad to make it soak. Apply an expanded cotton pad to your nose and wait for 8 to 10 minutes to remove it. And if there's any remaining liquid on the essence, then pat with your fingers until you can absorb. And then again in Korean, I assume. So yeah, you kind of have to wonder what was the point of this. I mean, it talks about things, using things that you don't have. Nothing that's actually provided with its kit anyhow. Instruction manuals come in a couple of different languages. Where's the English? Not on this card. Not on this card. Was this English? Yes, product instructions and so on and so forth. The instructions themselves are pretty much the same. Does give you some warnings so that the following people shall not use: allergic people who have skin diseases, dermatitis, skin allergies and severe injuries of the sun. Severe injuries of the sun? What are we all, vampires or something? The people who has a skin damage, eczema, swelling and other circumstances. The person who has a problem with physical, sensory or mental, or who has lack of experience. Yeah, at this point in time, having seen other videos around similar products coming from Asia, specifically more oriental parts such as Korea and China and so on and so forth, where you get manuals that are so badly written in English, I do sort of get the feeling at this point that it might be deliberate. They might be deliberately making them as bad as possible, or as close to good as possible, while still not really being right. It does actually give some good tips. Please charge for 2 hours before the first time of use to extend the battery life. And it's probably best if I actually bring it out of the box now, just so you can see it. It kind of reminds me in some regards of a Star Trek phaser from Star Trek Next Generation, that it's sort of, you know, moulded to fit your hand quite well. It's got a good ergonomic kind of feel to it. And there's one button. You can't set it to wide beam stun to knock everybody out in the room that you might be coming to like you can on Star Trek, but there you go. 3 lights which also light up when you charge it. Charging port right there. More traditional micro USB there and standard USB on that. Works with any charger. Charges, and that's just gone down the back of my set. Back of my bookcase. I shall have to demolish everything to get that free, but you can see there, that is a little bit of a material there just to actually catch blood and guts and whatnot. You can take that out and replace it. And that's obviously where those come from. But yes, that is dirt and blood and whatnot that you get if you have this on for too long on any particular area. Then it can basically damage the skin. I've tried this on a variety of spots. It does work quite well. I'm just putting that on for show at the moment, but it does work quite well. It will basically suck things in. It collects in here, and to prevent it from going into the actual motor and whatnot and gumming everything up. Look, you can see the wires. That just basically acts as a filter. So you take that out. You could potentially clean it as well and put it back in, but I don't think you'd really want to. But all the gunk basically gets otherwise stored up in here. There are lots of videos of this sort of thing in use. And it does work. It does work quite well. But again, I prefer this particular attachment because although you've got other attachments like this one, which works about as well and has this sort of buffing stone that you can sort of use to help even out skin tone and whatnot. Look, we've got a spare one of these. Okay, so they work equally as well. But then you've got this one here which has a much smaller hole. And at first I thought that would work better because more suction and more concentrated space. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. It just sort of feels like something's picking at you and it doesn't really seem to do anything. You've got this one which has a more angled oval shape. And again, you would think that would do the business, that would actually help get more gunk out over a small surface area. It doesn't work like that. You really do need to have the larger size holes like this for best effect. That's literally how this works. And this, yeah, it does seem to do what it's supposed to. It works slightly less well than this in terms of getting the gunk out, but I think it's more really intended to help even out skin tones and whatnot and help around sort of, we'll just lighten it up a bit and just sort of help deal with skin conditions just to get your skin smoother and whatnot. And it works. Yeah, it does work. It's not some sort of scam. It's just if you do put it against your skin, turn it on and get surprised that nothing's came out, it really means that your pores are clean already. You just, it will take a few minutes, a bit of time to actually work. As for what it's recommending here, putting a cleanser on, then cleaning it, holding it for 4 to 5 minutes to relax pores, and then using more stuff to get the pores cleaner again for 8 to 10 minutes, and then using that, and then using it again. You could do that. I mean, what we're talking about, 5, 15, 25. We're probably talking about half an hour's overall use if you're going to follow these instructions to the letter, having allowed for the part translation. The best thing to really do is just have a hot shower, open up the pores, apply a hot flannel to wherever you're wanting to clean, and just give everything a scrub with the flannel. And that would work just as well to open the pores up and then use this. And then go back in under the shower after you've used this, just to help make sure everything's cleaned up. And then use a cold shower to close the pores, because you do need to make sure that your pores are closed afterwards so that they're not getting dirt back into them. At least no more than you would normally from everyday events, such as going to work. Right, I'm gonna call it quits for this review. I'll see you next time.